this is Desiree Dubois, and I'm the founder of An Empowered Woman, and that's Us Girls Productions. Today, I had the pleasure of being with you, and we are interviewing 4 fabulous women about Let's Talk Success, but a little bit about Empowered Woman. For 7 years, we've been supporting women in business, women that are starting, fixing, and building their businesses through our web radio shows, our TV shows, our mastermind meetings, seminars, and awesome live events. But as of recently, we realized there's a big world out there that all of us can extend our platform to and share our businesses and our stories and challenges and victories and secrets to success with. So we're doing it via live stream, via YouTube, that we can also connect with you. So I'm encouraging you to connect with us as well, because you can go to YouTube, and you're there, Ashley, but you can go to YouTube and make sure you converse with us and share and find us on your social media. So welcome to Let's Talk Success. And my first guest today is Kim Shepard. Good morning, Kim. How are you doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
Let's give her a round of applause. We also have a beautiful live audience here. Do you feel empowered?
I do. This is quite a nice group.
It's an awesome group. We have an awesome group of women that are here with us today. Now, you have a very interesting story. You're the CEO of Decision Toolbox.
Right.
Tell us about it.
Sure. We're a high volume recruitment firm, low fee based, and I don't know quite how I stumbled into this. I was a TV reporter in the 80s and then became the worldwide director of entertainment for Club Med, and then decided to find myself a job in corporate America and became a recruiter, realized I didn't really like recruiting, so I became a CEO. So sometimes they say people can't hold a job. I can't hold a career.
But your story, were you always in business when you were toddling around coming up, or what was your aspirations? Did you have aspirations of being a big-time CEO?
I didn't, never. I had an aspiration from the time I was about 12 to be a television reporter. And back then, women weren't really doing reporting. I mean, there were maybe about 6 of us, Connie Chung and Maria Shriver, and we all kind of bumped into each other. And then you get to a point after several years of doing that, in my case it was about 10 years of doing that, and you either have to go the celebrity route, like Connie did, or Joan London or Maria Shriver, or the reason I got involved with it is because I wanted to be a concert pianist on Monday and a brain surgeon on Tuesday and a rodeo trick rider on Thursday, and as a TV reporter I was able to do that. But then if I was to go the teleprompter route and that celebrity route, I never really signed up for that. Probably if I could go back, I probably would have redone the math, because the salary jumps quite a bit when you get out of the trench and into, behind the camera like that.
So your challenges in that business and the other businesses that you've had from there, because a lot of the women, you say sometimes they just happen to be, and they happen to find themselves in certain places, but they don't just particularly expect to. But then their challenges, if it's an industry that's dominated by either male or that's just new. You were a trailblazer for so much, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, being a woman in business is fun, because you can kind of have your cake and eat it too. So I belong to a CEO roundtable called the Adaptive Business Leaders Roundtable. And I'll never forget when I first joined, and there's 18 CEOs, and all of them are men except for me. And to this day, I'm the only woman in the group. And at first I kind of went, what's going on here? But then I thought about it, and it's like, I can be the damsel in distress if I want. I can do whatever I want. So when that particular organization starts with a round robin of what's keeping you up at night, and all the guys were saying, my P&L and my ROI and my KPIs and all this stuff, right? And it got to me, and honestly what was keeping me up at night was I was being sued by somebody. I was being sued for palimony. So I went, I'm being sued for palimony. And everybody's like, she can't talk about something personal. The next month, every single guy, when they went round robin, it was all, I'm having an issue with my daughter going to college, my wife, my dad. I was the only one with a business issue. They all turned into a bunch of girls.
Well, they realized how therapeutic that was.
Absolutely.
It probably was.
People that say work-life balance, who invented that combination of words? It's not work-life balance, it's life balance. And we're kind of taught to look at life as being on a teeter-totter. I'm in my personal life, I'm in my professional life. Well, the Gen Yers, those snot-nosed, hedonistic little brats, right?
That exist today.
Exactly. I love them. They taught us that it's a balance beam. that we're just in one groove and we don't have to be either or.
Is that why they're so mellow? They're just moving
Zen,
this.
yeah.
That's frustrating. So that was one challenge. What's another challenge, though, as far as just taking a business? Your business is now to the point of
Yeah.
dollars.
Oh, we're just north of 10 million.
Okay, that's huge. That's huge. So there's a challenge that comes with that, yes?
There's always a challenge. To get to your first million is a challenge. When you're a million, you're just running towards 2.5. At 2, you look at 5. At 5, you look at 10. Now I'm at 10, I'm looking at 20. I mean, so there's always a challenge. But one of the big challenges that I faced that taught me a lot was 9/11. Because in our industry, you know, we do the recruitment, the world stopped. Our world stopped on 9/11. And suddenly, nobody, you know, I had all those fixed costs like everybody else, but nobody was hiring. And so at that moment, you know, you either go into the fetal position or you get pissed off. And I went that way. And so I made a list of 27 business things to do, and one of the big ones was to go 100% virtual. And so to this day, we have no sticks or bricks. I have just north of 100 employees, and we've been able to drop those costs as a result of not having those sticks or bricks and all the other things. And then that makes us scalable, because if we get all of a sudden a project, we got a project last year with Intuit that needed us to hire 700 tax prep people a week for 7 consecutive weeks. What? So thank God we were a recruitment company, because we needed to recruit for ourselves, but also it allowed us to be 100% scalable, because everybody has their own computers and their own phones, and you don't have to worry about expansion of office space. You know, so we just rolled out and doubled our staff, and we're off to the races.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Was there ever a challenge? I mean, 9/11 is a big challenge. Was there ever a challenge that you wondered how we're going to get through this?
Oh, yeah. Is it Monday? Is it Tuesday?
Really? So this is part of the process then. Is it really just part of the process?
You know, it is. It's the thing that keeps me going is, and ironically, when I was a senior in high school, Hallmark was having a quote contest, and if they bought one of your quotes, they'd give you $50. And so I submitted 2, and they bought both of them. So the first one was, an expert is a person who knows more and more about less and less.
Okay.
And the second one is, there's nothing common about common sense. And there really isn't. And so when I wrote my book, The Bite Me School of Management, it's just 26 common sense approaches to big business problems. And so I think we as women, the best thing that you can do is get still with yourself when you've got something to look at, and what's nice is we can look at it with both the emotional and the intellectual sides of our brain.
As long as we get past the emotional.
Yeah.
Get over that hump first. Okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people think the challenges when they come up is that because they don't know enough, they're not doing it well enough, or they just don't have enough support or staff or just whatever it is. And it's to realize it's important for us to share that it's just part of the process. It's a time for you to sit still, as you mentioned, and just work it out. But many times people stop at that point, and that's what the message I want to share is that that's not the point to stop. It's a point to pause.
Right.
So that you can regroup and be able to go forward to the next.
Yep. And I think along those lines, a good lesson is, and my business partner taught me this when we first got together 13 years ago, and it's, you can design what you want or deal with what you get. And so if you think of life and challenges as a pyramid, what we have a tendency to do is look at it as that pyramid, and let's say the bottom line is a clock continuum. We go running at that pyramid, my God, my hair's on fire, and this is what I'm doing. And then you get the solutions down at the bottom. If you flipped the pyramid, stopped for a minute, thought about it before you go running with your hair on fire, when you get down to the bottom point of the pyramid and the clock's going, you just bam, 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 bam.
Knock him out.
Knock them out. Always remember to punch above your weight.
Okay.
A friend of mine said, "You know, Kim, you talk in headlines."
You do.
I said, I said, "I do, thank you." And she goes, "Yeah, and I don't like it."
If you can keep up with you, then that's a good news. Just keep going.
Well, see, we in our organization, we've got what I call tribal speak, and we have to, when someone joins the organization, they have to get a glossary of what's called Kimisms, because we'll see an email and it'll say, send out the green flag, chunky monkey, but notify the cockroach committee because the dog has fleas.
Oh my gosh.
And what that really means is we just landed a brand new big client, Chunky Monkey. But send out the cockroach committee, which would be the quality assurance committee, because the dog has fleas, a hiring manager that's a little sketchy. So, and everything, everyone in my organization would know exactly what I was talking about.
You have your book, and your book is awesome. Tell us about that information. I read it, and it has all these different words and phrases, and it's like, okay, she's kidding, but you actually utilize that. And
I do. Well, I'm not trained in business. I was never trained in business. I'm a TV reporter. What do I know, right? And so I, over the years, found myself solving problems in really weird ways, and I would throw it on a 3x5 card and throw it in a drawer. 20 years later, a friend of mine who's a publisher said, you really need to write your book. And I'm like, in what spare time? And so then I pulled out the cards, and I thought, the cards are really stories. There might only be 5 words on the card, but I remember the whole story that led up to this. And so I was laying on the couch watching Lord of the Rings, and it's based in the mythical place of Middle Earth. I went, Middle Earth, where's that? Googled it. It's Queenstown, New Zealand. I grabbed the cards and bought a one-way ticket to Queenstown and wrote at 5 o'clock in the morning till noon, go to a little pub, have a beer and a meat pie, and come back and write some more, and 10 days later I had the book done.
Done.
And then I went helicopter skiing, bungee jumping, luging, shot over boats. Queenstown is, if you want to die, that's the place to go. There's no suing.
Well, see, you didn't succeed at that. So.
I know. Can't hold a career.
No, I'm glad you're back. So what about the victories? Yes, the celebrations. I mean, all this through this, there's some moments of that. Yes, the book was one moment I could imagine being, something to definitely celebrate. What else?
Well, the book is really a brochure.
I know, but it's done. I mean, I've been trying to get one done for years. I mean, a lot of people
go to Middle Earth.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Ticket, 5 o'clock in the morning.
I'm really blessed to have a crew that they're just so much smarter than me, but don't tell them that. I don't want them to know that part. And it's just a big love fest for us. And I'm really, one of the proudest moments I was it's now the 3rd year in a row, won the Alfred P. Sloan Award for Business Excellence and Workplace Flexibility. And to get that award, they interview every single employee, and they randomly select 30% of your customers. And they interview them, and it's very arduous, and they'll look at thousands of companies, and then they pick 5.
Wow.
And so we've won it. It's kind of, in my business, it's the Academy Awards.
Great. Well,
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So, and then the other thing that I just want to mention is when you're running your own business, it's really important. For me, I don't have any children. And my company is my child, but I'm very involved with a couple of charities, Girls Inc. Of Orange County,
yes.
and Working Wardrobes of Orange County, and I had to plug that, right, Gianna? We've got the chair board here. Okay. And so it's just nice to be able to give in another way. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. Secrets to success. Now, I know you have, all these different years and all these different moments of the accumulation of trials and tribulations and how you overcome them. But for all the listeners today, what are some of the things that have definitely consistently worked for you?
Mm-hmm. The common sense thing. Look at things seriously. Look at everything with common sense and not always through a business perspective. Like I said, being a businesswoman and a woman are 2 different strong suits that you have going for you. And so make sure you deploy both of those when thinking through an issue. Keep your powder dry. Always have some cash in reserve so that you don't have to make drastic labor changes, because that hurts your heart. Particularly if you have a down cycle in your business and at no fault of the employees that you downsize. And then you know that you're sending them into a candidate-rich environment. That just hurts your heart. And I've had to do it, once is too many times, and I've had to do it way more than once. So a nice rainy day fund is a good thing to have.
So, some of the women, though, many businesses are just using that cash flow. The cash is flowing in and cash is flowing out. So do you have a certain amount, a percentage you just no matter what put away? Or when you get one of those big was it 700 people in 7
Oh, yeah.
days? I mean, how do you do that? Because some people have difficulty doing that, saving even personally, much less with their business, because
Right.
something always comes up, or there's always an opportunity to take that money and grow, buy a new piece of equipment,
Right.
or do live streams, things like that.
Being self-funded is wonderful math. Because then you don't have a board telling you what to do. I mean, you have a board, but it really acts more as an advisory board. And we don't have any outside investors, so we can my business partner and I can make any decision that we want, as long as it's prudent. But to your question about rule of thumb, I like to have at least 6 months of operating costs covered by outstanding AR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then always have a line of credit if you can get it, and don't touch it.
Just leave it there. Something just came up when you were speaking. One of the other secret is that personally, you and your balance of the work and the time that you use, and then the time you use to have fun. I know you travel. I've talked to you. You're in your shorts. You're just you're traveling. You're going here. You're going there. You've always been able to balance that, or you just now got to a point where that's just a necessity.
I've always balanced that part. I mean,
really?
Work hard, work smart. But for me, it's all about non-mascara days. So 2 days a week, I like to have non-mascara days. And I don't care if the Pope wants to see me on a non-mascara day Tuesday. I'm booked. But then that means on the other days when you are putting mascara on, and of course that's just figurative of being able to go to the gym and spend the day in my work clothes or whatever. But then when you do have to do them, you've got face-to-face interviews back to back.
Great, awesome. I'm thinking that you are such a role model for these ladies. And men and women. We have men and women in our business, but it's just so important to touch the women because sometimes we feel like we're lone rangers.
Yeah.
So what empowering thought would you like to leave with them with today? What one empowering thought would you like to share with the ladies? And then if we could get a copy of her book, that would be awesome. I can show it. Someone can run and get a copy.
Impossible is merely an opinion.
Impossible
Is merely an opinion.
Okay.
You can do anything you want.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay. So, this appears. It wasn't impossible. But this is your book, and it's helping to get a copy of it because it's a really easy read and full of lots
I call
of
it my toilet
information
book. If you go to our website, which is dtoolbox.com, there's an electronic copy that they can download.
Did you say D?
D is in decision, toolbox.com.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your time
Thank you,
and
Doc.
your expertise. Thank you. It's always been a pleasure, and I want to thank you for joining us. And feel free to contact Kim Shepard at dtoolbox.com. But be sure to contact an empowered woman for more information or for you to be able to appear on our shows in the future. But more importantly, thank you for empowering women. Until we meet again, stay empowered.
If you are passionate about your message, if you want your book to be the best it can be, and if you want someone to do it for you with your collaboration every step of the way, then Ellen Reed is the one for you.